Okay, so hi Arvind, hi Raj. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about time complexities. So time complexity is one of the most important topic because we are going to measure whatever the code we are going to write. So we are going to measure the performance of our code in terms of time complexities. We required a common scale to measure the time complexities of each and every algorithm because if I write a software, if I write any program, so that the execution speed of the program will vary from system to system. So for example, if I run a program uh, which I, which does not run any other programs, like which is like RAM is like free, RAM is free, and moreover the process speed is if you have a good process speed, the program will execute faster than comparatively to with the other systems which has a different situation. Like if the process speed is low and RAM is low, there are lots of conditions where the program speed will vary from system to system. In that case, we required a common uh, system, a common kind of system to measure the time complexity. So that we call it as time complexity. So we are going to measure the time complexity of our algorithm by discussing how to, by writing our algorithm, and we'll discuss furthermore how to calculate it. For that, I'm going to share my screen. Let me share the whiteboard. So today's topic is time complexity. So this is one of the very important topic because whatever the solution you are going to write in the interview, so it will be compared against your against your solution. So usually in the interview, you have to derive two types of solution. You have to derive two types of solution. So one would be your the first solution would not be an optimized solution. Every time, see, it does not mean that you should always come with an optimized solution first. You should always come with an non-optimized solution. In the interview, you should come up with a non-optimized solution first, and then the optimized solution. And moreover, this is not a thumb rule to do in an interview, but most of the candidates who has done this kind of who has followed this kind of pattern has a more success ratio, has got a more success ratio in the interview. So it's better if you follow first a non-optimized solution, then the optimized solution. So now the question is how to know whether our solution is an optimized or non-optimized solution. So for that we need to know the time complexity first. So I'm going to write a code, and then we'll discuss further more about how finding an time complexity with the uh, code. Okay. Let's say, see, this is a code which is in general syntax. It does not compile with a Java syntax or Python syntax or anything. It's just a general code. Okay. So this has got some statements to do. That might be anything. Okay, we are not bothered about what kind of statement it gets executed. We're only bothered about how many times these loops get executed. So for I is equals to 1, I is less than n, I plus plus, and the statement. So how many times this loop, okay, for simplicity, let's not take n. First, let's take for simplicity's sake, let's take 3. Okay. So you're writing this code. How many times this particular statement will get executed? So this statement gets executed when I is equals to 1 till I less than 3. So first time, so when I is equals to 1, it gets executed, and I is equals to 2, it gets executed. Okay. I is equals to 2, it gets executed. I'm just talking only about this statement, this particular statement. Okay. This particular statement. This particular statement. So this statement gets executed when I is equals to 1, I is equals to 2, and again so first when I is equals to 1, it gets executed. This block gets executed, and when I is equals to 2, it checks the condition first, and then it gets incremented and then executed, right? So this has got to do 2 steps. So first time is an initialization, second is your condition checking. Initialization, for the first time, it gets the initialization, checks condition, and then increments. So this is the thing, right? So, and for the second time, checks the condition, and for the other loops, for the next time, I mean for the other times other than the first time, for the other times, checks the condition and then increments. Right? This is the pattern. Right. So in this case, so I is equals to 1, it gets initialized, checks the condition. Let me again write it clearly. So for the first time, when I is equals to 1, it checks and execute. I mean, yeah, checks the condition and then increments. For I is equals to 2, so checks the condition and increments. So it checks the condition. Condition is true, so it executes. And for the third time, what happens for the third time? Will that execute the third time or not? Arvind?
No, sir, it won't execute third time because it checks if the condition is true or not.
Okay.
And it
so
sees that the condition is not true.
Okay. So okay. In that case, okay. So for I is equals, this gets executed, right? For the first time, this gets executed. For I is equals to, it gets executed, correct? So now,
Yes.
how does for loop know this statement? I mean, how the for loop fails in that case? You understanding my question?
Right, right. Yeah, in that case, it'll go. Oh, so it does the
Fails and comes out of this for loop. So in this case,
yeah,
how many times this statement gets executed?
yeah. That statement will get executed thrice.
3 times. How many times this
Yeah.
statement gets executed? So in this case, let's talk about this. Okay. So at the third step, this gets failed and comes out, correct? So when I is equals to 1, checks and increments and executes this statement, right? So in this case, this statement for the I is equals to 1, it gets executed. For I is equals to 2, this gets executed. But I is equals to 3, it will not get executed. It comes, I mean, here itself, it just breaks out of the loop and comes out. So this, the first statement will execute for n plus 1 time. I mean, sorry, let's not, sorry. The first statement will execute for 3 times, and whatever the statements inside the first statement will execute for 2 times. So let's convert this into some kind of general equation. Let's substitute this 3 with n. Let's substitute this 3 with n. So if I substitute this 3 with n, so in that case, how many times this will get executed? n times. This will get executed for n minus 1 time, right? So totally this would be n plus n minus 1 over 2n minus 1. So we call it as of order of n. Okay. So if it is I is equals to I is greater than or equals to n, in that case, how many times it will get executed? This will get executed for n plus 1, and this will get executed for n, and total would be n plus 1, totally 2n plus 1. Okay, right. So everybody is with me. Did you understand how did I generalize it, Raj, Aravind? Did you understand this logic? How did I come with order of n? Okay, so you know how many times this gets executed. So we can call it as n plus n minus 1 or n plus 1. It's up to you. So it depends on. So in any case, this would be 2n plus 1. So you have to sum it up. So whatever the values you got here, n plus 1 or n minus 1, whatever it might be, if you sum it up, oh sorry, n plus 1, this would be n. If it is n minus 1, in that case also this would be n. So you have to sum it up. So if you sum it up, this would be 2n plus 1. So what is the order of this polynomial? We call it as a polynomial equation, right? 2n plus 1, we call it as a polynomial equation. What is the order of this polynomial? What is the order of the polynomial? So what is the power here? What is the power? What is the power of this polynomial? So what should be here is this order of this equation, order of this polynomial. That is nothing but 1. So usually it is 1, right? So we generalize that with order of n. So that's how you calculate the time complexity. Usually whenever you see an equation which is running for n, you can straight away call it as n. So these explanations is not this kind of explanations are not required in the interview. This is just for your understanding how we get order of n, how we are calculating the order of n. That is what we are trying to explore here. And in any case, there is no need for all this explanations in the interview. This is just for your understanding. So did you understand how we got order of n? Are you clear, or do you have you lost anywhere? Any questions? Aravind?
No, sir, I'm good. Thank you.
Raj? Okay. So I have an this is how you calculate the order. I mean, order of time complexity of any program. So let's take one more equation and analyze the time complexity. So if I is equals to 1, I less than n, I plus 2. So now tell me how many times this per condition will execute. How many times this per condition will execute? This alone, this statement alone. This statement alone. How many times? 1 times and 2 times. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So instead of n, let's assume it as 4. Okay. Yeah, let's assume it as 4. For I is equals to 1, I less than 4, I plus 2. So we have a statement here. So how many times this will how many times now this will execute? So it will execute for I is equals to 1. And if it is 2, now what is the value of 2 when I is equals to 1? What happens where I value for the next time? I becomes, I think this window should be here. Yes, I becomes 3. And what happens to the next time? I value becomes 5. Right? Yes. So in that case, this executes again for n plus 1 time. Sorry, n minus 1 time. Value is 4, right? Yeah. This will execute for n minus 1 time. How many times this will get executed? This will execute it for, no, not 5. Oh, yeah. The next time the value will be 5. And this first statement will get break here. This will come out of this first statement. So how many times? This is n minus 1. So since it is 4, I'm writing it as n minus 1 because I substituted n with 4, right? So since it is 3, n minus 1. So what happens to this statement? So this statement, how many times this statement will execute it? This will execute for 1, this will execute for 3, and this will not get executed for 5, right? Because the state for condition here itself it breaks. So how many times? 2 times. So how can we write 2 in terms of n? We can't write n minus 2 here, right? Can we write n minus 2 here? Okay, let's suppose if you're writing n minus 2, assume n minus 2. Now take n value as 7. So how many times this for condition first statement will get executed? This first statement alone. How many times? So as per our rule, this gets executed for n minus 1, that is 6 times, right? This gets executed for 6 times. I is equals to 1, I is less than 7, I plus 2. That is like for 1, and then the next step would be for 3, and the next step would be for 5, and the next step would be for 1, 3, 5, and 7. Yeah, 1, 3, 5, 7. So yeah, correct. So 1, 3, 5, 7. And then how about this statement? This statement would execute for 3 times. This gets executed for 1, 3, 5. Will not get executed for 7. So how can you write in terms of, I mean, how can you write in terms of n? You can't write it as n minus 2, right? You can't write it as n minus 2. Since it is easy to get 4 from 2, we wrote it as n minus 2, but now we know that we can't write it in terms of n minus 2. So what should be the best case here? We can write it as n by 2. So what would be the time complexity? The time complexity would be order of n by 2, that is nothing but order of n. So the main thing that you should remember is we calculate the time complexity in terms of I think I'm getting some disturbance. Thanks, Arvind. Arvind, can you, is it from my side?
I'm sorry, sir.
Arvind, can I mute you for a few seconds? Yeah, I think the disturbance is from, okay, right. So totally the order of, what would be the order of this, I mean, time complexity of this program? That would be order of n. Since when we calculate the time complexity in terms of equation, that comes to n by 2. So but we take only uh, the degree of the polynomial. Since the degree of polynomial is 1 here, n is n, right? So if it is like something in terms of n square, we call it as degree of polynomial as 2. But since we got only just n, we take it as order of n. Okay, so clear? Any doubts? Any questions? Any doubts or any questions in this? Aravind, Raj, both of you understood? Is that clear or yes? Okay. How about Raj? Raj, is that clear? Yes. Okay. So let's take one more equation. Okay. So in this statement, so if you can see, so this, how many, I mean, let's consider this entire thing as a statement. Okay. So we calculate this in 2 parts. So let's calculate this, let's consider this as a statement. And we are just going to just see what would be the uh, time complexity of this. Just exclude this, consider this as a statement. What would be the time complexity of this? For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. What is the time complexity of this? Aravind? Okay, so that would be order of n. Great. So now let's see, since we have added some more complexity by having one more for loop, let's decode this. Okay. Now just tell me, I'm just going to have a table with the values of I and j. This would be number of times. Okay, so for I is equals to 0, for I is equals to 0, so how many times this, what would be the j value here? For I is equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So let's assume n is somewhere around, let's take for 3. Okay, n is equals to 3. So how about this statement? Will this, how many times this get executed? So for I is equals to 0, in so now for the first time, I value would be 0, right? I value would be 0. Now we are executing this statement, this block of statements. So what happens here? J would be 0. J is less than I. Is J is less than I? J is less, is that J is less than I? J value is 0 here. No. And I value is 0. So what happens here? So this will not execute at least for one time. Even for the 0th value, it will not get executed. So number of times how many times now it gets executed? It gets executed for 0 times, this statement. So this number of times we are just calculating for this statement alone. We are not calculating for each and everything. We are just calculating for the statement. Okay, because anyhow, when we add it up, so it's just going to be get added up, and we are just going, and then end of the day, we are going to calculate only the degree of polynomial equation. So when we add, the degree will not going to change. Degree is not going to change because always the degree of this first statement would be 1. Degree of polynomial would be 1, right? Degree of polynomial. Always remember that's a degree of polynomial. Whenever I say degree of polynomial, it's just going to be the order of n. Time complexity would be O of n. Okay. How about for I is equals to 1? Now what happens? How many times this gets executed? It gets executed for 0. J is equals to 0. J is less than I. J is less than 1. Yes. So how many times this get executed? For 0 value, it gets executed. For 1, it will not get executed. So number of times would be 1. One time it gets executed, right? This statement will get executed for one time. The innermost statement would get executed for one time. That means the entire statement is also going to get executed for one time. I mean, I'm not, again this for loop will get break for the next time. I'm not going to calculate all those things. I'm just calculating only in terms of the inner statement, in terms of inner statements. So what happens when I is equals to 2? Now tell me. This gets executed for 0. J, when J, this statement would get executed when J is 0 and J is 1, and it will not get executed for 2. So how many times this is going to get executed? This is going to execute for, it's executed for 2 times. So what happens when it is 3? 0, 1, 2, 3 is not going to, so total number of times would be 3. So what happens when it is n? This gets executed for n times. So now let's calculate what happens. Okay. So this gets executed for n times. So we have to sum this entire number of times, right? We have to sum it up. So 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on n. So why I am summing this up? For each and every time when I is equals to 1, this gets executed for, when I is equals to 0, this gets executed, this will not get executed. But when I is equals to 1, this executes for 1. When I is equals to 2, this gets executed for 2. So that means if I want to calculate, if I wish to calculate the thing, what happens? I have to sum all this up. I have to sum all this up because it is just a for loop inside a for loop, right? So we have to sum it up. So what happens now? This would be n into n plus 1 by 2. What is the degree of polynomial? It is 2. So whenever there is a for loop inside a for loop, so the what would be the order? Order would be O of n square. Again, it is not a blind rule that always it follows order of n square, but if the pattern is something like this, then it would be order of n square. So any doubts? Any questions? Raj and Arvind, both of you, did you understand what I tried to convey? Do you have any questions? Any questions, Raj, from your side? Let's take one more equation. Let's take one more first statement. So now you guys tell me what would be how many times this statement would get executed. This is I into 2. Okay. So when this for loop will break? When this for loop will break for n minus 1. Now, what is the condition to break? What is at what condition this for loop first entire for loop will get break? Okay. So when I becomes greater than n, this first statement will get break, right? Right? Okay. Have this in mind. So now just let's see what are the values of I. So when I is equals to 1, and the statement gets executed, what would be the I value for the next time? What would be the value of I after 1? 2. Yes. After 2? After 2? 4, right? After 4? 8, right? After 8? 16. Good. So how can you write this? And write it as 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, and 2 power 4, right? So this keeps on going. And this would be, let's not take this as n, let's take it as k. I'm just taking it as k because it is not depending on n, right? I'm just talking about the I value. So I value goes till 2 power k, correct? See, don't get confused. Why I'm not taking n here? Because this is just I values. This does not have any dependency with n. I'm just talking about just the I values. Clear? This is just the I values. So there is no need, there is no dependency in terms of k. What we have discussed, we have just spoke few things about I. So what would be the I values? So it is nothing to do with n. So 2 power k. So what happens to the I? 2 power k should be greater than n. So now what would be the value of so now tell me, what would be the k? How to get the k here in terms of k? How to write in terms of k? What should I do? So then k becomes, k is greater than log base 2n, right? K is greater than log base 2n. It is just a simple math, right? So when you apply log on both sides, so it just becomes k is greater than log of n2. So what would be the order of this thing? Order of this first statement would be order of log n. Clear? This is order of log n. This is not order of n, because this statement will not get executed for n times. Instead, this would execute only for log of n times. For example, you can just take a value as probably 4 or 3. 3. You can calculate the number of times this statement gets executed. This would be always log of n times. This gets executed only for log of n times. Clear? Is that clear? Raj? Yes. Arvind? Okay. So I'm going to give one more challenge here. Just a minute. So yeah, I is equals to I times 3. Sorry. So what would be the order? What would be the order? What would be the order? Raj, Arvind? Okay. Can we just simply calculate? Just let's calculate the I values of log n. Okay. So let's simply calculate I values. Just tell me what would be the I value for 1. What would be the next following value? 3. What would be the value of the next value of n? I, sorry, I. It's 3. So the next value 9. Good. Next value is it 27 or 81? 27, yes. So what would be the next? Next would be 81, right? So we can take this would be like k, value would just go till k. So we can express this as 3 power 0, 3 power 1, 3 power 2, 3 power 3, 3 power 4, 3 power k. So this would break when I is greater than n. So that means 3 power k is greater than n. K is greater than log of 3 power n. So what would be the order of this equation? Log of 3 power n. Clear? Aravind, Raj, both of you clear? Yes. So now for I is equals to 1, I is less than n, I plus plus some statement for j is equals to 1, j is less than n, j plus plus some statements. So what would be the order for this entire program? Okay. Tell me for this loop, what would be the order? N. What would be what would be for this? N. So you have to add it up first. Okay. So Raj and Aravind. So whenever you are calculating this, you are calculating for the entire program, right? So always after each and every block, you have to simply add it up. So n plus n, what is the n plus n? 2n. So what would be the order? What is the degree of polynomial? Just tell me the degree of polynomial. What is the degree of polynomial? What is the degree of polynomial? Yes, degree of polynomial is 1. The order would be n. Okay, degree of polynomial is 1, right? Clear? So that's the reason whenever always remember. So in the interview, you can always write 2 first statements. If you get a question where you can solve with 2 first statements, go ahead and solve it. But never if you have one more solution in mind, having a for inside a for, then please do not execute that. Instead of that, always execute this. This would be order of n, but whenever you're trying to execute for inside for, it's not always though, depends on the condition. But if it follows the pattern that we have already come across in the previous examples, then it would be order of n square. Okay, so you should always go for a solution which is in terms of order of n or order of log n. So that's the main goal behind this algorithm class. We would like to solve all the problems in terms of order of n, order of log n, order of n log n, or order of log n if possible. Okay, now tell me n log n, n log n. Okay, let me clear all this. Okay, so both of you type it. So you have this kind of thing, n log n, n square, and log n. Okay, so just order this in ascending order. How do you ascend? What would be the first value? What would be the first? What is the least value in this? The least value is that n or log n or n log n. What is the least value? Arvind? Log n, right? Okay, so log n. What would be the next least value? What is the next least value? What would be the next least value? Is it n log n or n? What is the next least value? Just Arvind? Okay, Arvind? N, okay, log n, and then that would be n log n, then n square. So if given a chance, if you can think of a solution of log n, that would be your optimized solution. And in any given chance, this would be n. So in terms of it can be n square or n cube, anything. So more than n square, whatever it is. So this is going to be your non-optimized solution. Okay. Okay. So anything in between, that would be always. So we can call it as this is best. This we can't see. Sometimes there are few questions that can be solved in terms of n square. There is no better. Okay, some solutions doesn't mean that this is always the worst, but as of now we can think this is something not the best. We can say not the best, and this can be in between best and not best. So this would be good. So in any interview, you are assumed to come in between this. Okay, and if some solutions, if some problems are solved with n square, okay, it's always better to go with, if you can solve it in within n log n. Okay, if you can solve with n log n, that is better. That is always better, right? So I have a quick one more example. So I'll stop it here. Okay, with this example, I'm going to stop, and then I'll just summarize whatever we have discussed in today's class with just small summarization. I have few more scenarios with complexities. Okay. So I'm just going to summarize the class today. Tomorrow I'll come up with some more complex time complexity problems. So by tomorrow we'll finish the time complexity. Okay. So for I is equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. What is the time complexity? What is the time complexity of this? Equal to 0, I less than n, I plus. Good. This is O of n, right? So for I is equals to 0, I less than n, and I is equals to I plus 2. What is the time complexity of this? What is the time complexity of I is I plus 2? For I is equals to n, I is greater than 1, I minus minus. Okay. So what is the time complexity of this? So this would execute what this would get executed for how many times? N by 2 times, right? N by 2 times, Arvind. So here it is I plus 2. Okay, I plus 2, it just skips. It would be I plus 2 would execute for n by 2 times. If it is I plus 3, it will execute for n by 3 times. So what is the time complex? What is the order? What would be the order? Order of n. So what is the order of this? So I do you want me to repeat this, Arvind? Okay. This condition we'll see. Okay. So what is the time complexity of this? This one. What is the time complexity of the this one? I minus minus. Arvind. This is just I minus minus. Okay. I is equals to n, I greater than 1, I minus minus. I'm sorry, not 1, I minus minus. So anything is fine, I minus 1 or I minus minus, whatever it is. Arvind, what is the time complexity of this? So here we are going from 0 to n. Yeah, here we are going to n to 1. Nothing makes difference, right? From 100 to 1 or 1 to 100, both are same. So this would be O of n, right? I'll explain this at last. Then today what we have discussed, yeah, we have discussed one more thing. What is the time complexity of I is equals to 0, I less than n, I is equals to I multiplied by 2. What is the time complexity of this? What is the time complexity of this equation? I mean, this statement, this kind of pattern, what is the time complexity? Log n. Cool. Always write O of log n. Okay. Next. So in the same thing, this was the n, I is equals to I multiplied by 3. What would be the time complexity of this? What is the time complexity? No, okay. So it would be log base 3 n. Okay. I think Arvind, did you try to convey this or O of log 3? This one? Okay, fine. Cool. What else we have discussed? Okay. So for I is equals to n I greater than 1, I is equals to I divided by 2. Okay. So this one for I is equals to 0, I less than n, I is equals to I plus 2. So these are the two things we are going to discuss now. Okay. Before I tell this, because I know these are repetition, okay. But how about this? So what would be the time complexity of this? So how generally how do you calculate? So let's go by step. Okay, so now I value, let's consider an value of simply 10. Okay, 10. So the next step, what would be the I value? What would be the I value for the next step? 5. So next step, don't worry about points. Okay, just tell me, because don't worry about points. Just think this as kind of floor division. So the integer division. So it just returns 2. Okay, and what would be the next? What would be the next step? 1. Okay. So how many times this statement gets executed? How many times this statement gets executed? So if there is a statement, how many times this gets executed for 10? For the value of 10, 3 times. So this is nothing but approximately log of n. That is nothing but log of 10. Correct? Is this clear? How are you guys clear about how did I come up with log of 10? Is this clear? Okay. So for this kind of judgment, you need to take at least 2 to 3 values. Okay. So this is nothing but this. If you see this entire statement, this is similar to I is equals to 1, I is less than n, I is equals to I times 2. This is just inversion of this. Can you see? This is just an inversion of this. Aravind, can you connect to this? This is just an inversion of I is equals to 1, I less than n, I into I is equals to I into 2. This is nothing but an inversion of this. Okay. Okay. Let me do one thing. I'll explain this again in tomorrow's class. So let's see this repetition. At least this is a new topic, right? This is a new equation. Let me discuss this in tomorrow's class. At least let's finish this repetition problem. So what is the I value here? 0 to n, right? So what would be values of I? 0. Let's take I as, okay, just tell me the I values. 0. What would be the next value of I? What would be the next value of I? If it is 0, what would be the next value? 2, right? What would be the next value? 4, right? What would be the next value? 6, 8, 8, and 10, 12, 14, something like this. So how can you write this? There's nothing but n plus, oh yeah, 2n, 2n, right? There's nothing but 2n. 2 into 1, 2 into 2, 2 into 3, 2 into 4, 2 into 5, something like this. So what is the order of this? 2n. What would be the order of the equation? Degree of polynomial is 1. What would be the order of equation, or what is the time complexity of this? So if it is 2n, what would be the time complexity? When degree of polynomial is 1, what would be considered? Is it 2n or n? 2 times n is always n, right? So this is nothing but n. Is this equation clear? Is this clear? Okay. In tomorrow's class, I'll discuss this problem, and I have a couple of things to discuss on time complexity. Once that is done, I think time complexity should be, at least you should have got some idea about time complexity after today's class. So did you guys really get something out of this, or still not clear about the time complexity? At least you know how to calculate the time complexity now. By now, at least time complexities. Clear? Okay. How about Aravind? Yes. Good. So tomorrow's class we'll discuss some more scenarios, and then we'll start our algorithms. I mean, the curriculum, whatever we have, whatever the curriculum we had for this course, we'll discuss about that in tomorrow's class. Okay. So don't worry. After every yeah, so for this time complexities, I don't have anything, but after every problem solving, we'll do a time complexity calculation. I think you should be, you should have more, you'll get more grip after this. Okay. See, today's class is just a basic. It is not everything, it's just a basic. And after today's class, definitely you will get more idea. Everyday's practice. It will be an everyday approach. You'll get more knowledge on that. Okay. Don't worry, Raj. I'll really assure you that it would be an everyday practice for you. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions, or do you have any? Let's see. Yeah. No questions. Okay. Cool. Good. Okay. Arvind, from your side, do you have any questions, Arvind? Arvind, do you have any questions? No. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. We'll meet again same time tomorrow. Okay. Take care. Bye.